Thunderstruck. I've always held back from doing this one as I was never quite happy with it. I would always get quite a lot of noise while I was picking, and I never quite got the speed as smooth as I wanted it to be, but I've managed to get it a lot better over the last few months, and I'm going to share those speed tips with you in this video. And I'm also going to cover like a much easier way to play this riff that basically involves flick-offs instead of alternate picking. So let's look at the notes first of all, but chapter times are in the description and I'll put a link in the comments too. So the notes to this absolutely classic riff, it begins with an open B string, and basically everything is on this B string. So that's string 2. So open to first finger to 4th fret, open to 3rd finger. You could do this with the little finger, but I highly recommend your 3rd finger at 7th fret. So we get this pattern of 4 notes. Open, 4, open, 7. And if we just played everything with down picks, we get that pattern. Open 4, open, 7th fret. That repeats for 2 bars, and then all that happens is these 2 notes move up 1 fret. So it becomes 5th fret and 8th fret. And then we return to 4 and 7. 4, 7, 4, 7, 5, 8, 5, 8, 5, 8, 5, 8. And then we have this secondary riff, this descending note pattern, which we will cover in 1 second, but I want to cover up first of all how we can play those first notes up to speed so that it will have a knock-on effect and you'll be able to play not only this riff but a lot more things a lot faster. The riff is played with alternate picking, doing this properly. So with the alternate picking, we'd actually begin with an up pick. Up, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. It's with the down pick that we will be playing a note. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. It's the down picks where we're actually fretting the notes. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So let's have a few alternate picking tips, and I've got a whole video on alternate picking. If this is totally new to you, I'd really recommend checking that one out. But what we're going to look at here is having this pick on an angle. This is so important. We need the pick to be on the side of your first finger, and then thumb over the top, and that puts a pick rather than flat, which what will happen then if you're flat is it will collide against the string. You can see the string moving there, and this will happen. Much harder to do that faster than if we have it on an angle. Hand almost in a fist, and then the pick basically slides across the string rather than against it, so it can move much quicker across, and then you can begin. Really the best thing to do is just hitting the open B string, down, up, and really working your speed up, just playing the open string with alternate picking. See where you're at with it and build that speed gradually in that fashion. Now the biggest thing that held me back with this riff is that I've always been really a rhythm player. I've never professed to be the best lead guitarist. I am much more of a rhythm player, and I can really get some faster speed and some, you know, fast alternate picking when I'm on the thicker strings. I always struggle to do that on the thinner strings, and the reason why is you cannot dig in as hard with your pick and do this kind of thing when you're on the thinner strings. You need to really hold back, and for a while I was really treating the thinner strings, I need to treat them like a feather, like I'm playing them with a feather and being as light as possible to get that speed and be that accurate, okay? So really light. I also found that moving this way, so being more towards the neck pickup, meant that the string moves a lot less when you pick it. If I pick it here, which is where I would typically pick, the string actually moves up and down all the time when I'm picking it, even if I'm light. And plus we get those nasty kind of upper harmonics that I don't really like the sound of, whereas if we move this way, much easier to do faster down this way. Now we're really getting into personal preference now. I'm really showing you how I was able to get my speed up with this. I should also point out I'm actually using a Dan Hawkins signature pickup. Hell yes, Dan Hawkins from the Darkness. This is just a Tortex pickup though. I think it's around about 1mm in thickness, but I might be wrong with that, so you can check that out. But I have found it easier to play this riff faster with Tortex picks than I have with the Dunlop nylons or any other picks really. And the other thing we've really got to be doing is making sure we're muting all the thicker strings with your thumb. Muting strings 3, 4, 5 and 6 with your thumb. I would try and keep my middle finger on my third finger on the finished string, otherwise you'll be playing this riff great, but we get all the other strings ringing out, and that's not what we want. So that's where it becomes really tricky and really becomes the taming the beast of lead guitar. That's all the alternate picking stuff I can offer you. We can do this riff a lot easier with flick-offs, where we pick and flick. Pick, flick off, pick, flick off. This is very much seen as the cheating way in the guitar community, but it was the only way when I first learnt this riff, when I think I was 14, it was the only way that I could get anywhere near the speed of this. And if you can't get your speed up with these sorts of riffs, it's very demoralizing. You don't want to learn the rest of the song. It can put you off learning it at all. So that's a really handy one just to get the left-hand speed. And every guitarist builds their left-hand speed before their picking hand speed. It's just like the natural development. Flick-offs and hammer-ons are your gateway to faster this sort of speed of guitar, and then the picking hand will catch up over time. That's just the natural way to do it. So that was pick, flick, like that. Okay, let's get to this descending note pattern now, and we're going to learn it by not playing the open string and just learning the pattern of notes descending, okay? Because many people struggle to get this. You may have watched other videos and really struggled with it. So what we're going to cover is that sequence of notes first, and then we're going to look at doing it with alternate picking. So here we go. We have 12th fret with the third finger, to 10 with the middle, to 9. 3 descending notes. 1, 2, 3. From here we always have repetition of something, and it's remembering how many repetitions do we have. That's the key to nailing this riff. So we have 1, 2, 3. Do 2 and 3 again. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. Okay, and that's one pattern. If you're struggling with that, do it over and over again. From here, it goes down the neck, a whole tone, and comes back. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. Down a tone, which is 2 frets, and staying to the dots as well. And it's first to third. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. First finger, third finger. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. First, third. That same thing then happens again. First, third. So 5th fret and 7th fret. Okay? So we went 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. That's like part 1. First, third. First, third. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. First, third, first, third. And then to finish, it's 4th fret and 5th fret with the first 2 fingers. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 2, 3, 2, 3, first, third, and 2, and 3, and 4, and... Very easy to get lost if you don't have that pattern in mind and you don't have some sort of count to it. So we're counting the notes at the start, the fingers that we use, and then at the end it's the count of the beat that we're on so that we know how many we're doing. So notes wise, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3 again, first finger, third finger, first finger, third again, and then and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, first, third, and 2, and 3, and 4, and... If you struggle with that, make sure you learn the pattern first before going for any kind of alternate picking, or even the flick-offs version, which was the one that I learnt back in the day, as it's much easier to build your speed. Power chord sections, we'll look at the easy ones first of all. We have a B power chord, sound of the guns, the beating in my heart. This is a B power chord, 2nd fret power chord, 5th string root note, so that's our B note. Slip that first finger down, just slide it down to be a flat first finger on an A power chord, acdc style, then an E power chord, and then that same thing again, so B, A, E, B, A, E, A, E, B, A, E, A, E. That's the sound of the guns, the beat in my heart, that part. And then we have this second part. And I was shaking at the knees. So that is A, B, A, E. I was shaking at the knees. Can I come again, please? Okay. And then when he says, you've been thunderstruck, we have same chords again, but just a different order. Thunderstruck, thunderstruck. That is B, A, E, A, E. Now I've saved the best till last here. We've had a lot of flashy riffs in this song, but this riff just stays on one chord. And I've got my Gretsch to get the Malcolm Young sound a little bit closer to it anyway. And this is the riff we're going for now. So I'm on the B power chord for this entire riff, so let's just have a close-up on the picking hand, where essentially what we want to do first is just get used to that palm-muted B power chord, but we are playing strings 5, 4 and 3. Get used to that first of all with just this light palm muting, which is just the outside of my palm rested here. Nice and light. No, we're not digging in here, we're nice and light. And that would be the first one to add. 1 and a, just one up strum. 1 and a, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a, 2 and 3 and... When you do that up strum, you're just strumming from string 3 So it's it's less of an accent and more just of an up strum from there, rather than the momentum going from string 5. Really subtle. And then we basically have two more of those up strums. They are there. One E and a 2E and a 3E. One E and a 2E and a 3E. Okay, and then after that there's just an accent on beat 4 as well. 4 and. Just once. Such an awesome riff, but not an easy one. That final one has a lot of subtlety. You'll want to have learnt plenty of acdc rhythm lines by then, or have checked out my rock rhythm guitar course, which will give you all the principles of the rhythm style playing, and then the lead style playing is more in my lead rock guitar course, the black book over there. All of these are available as downloads from my website, and there's some clips of them on YouTube. All the best with this one. It's one of my favourite acdc songs, and it did take me a long time to nail it, but it's always going to be one of those songs that you come back to again and again and try and get your speed up with it, and have fun trying to play along to the record. That's where all the best benefits are tested and solidified. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again.